Welcome to video 2. If you haven't watched video 1, I recommend you do so before moving on to this video. And let's get started and dive into Track and Convert. So let's start from your monthly sales. Here you will see a recap of your monthly sales versus your target. You'll see in a moment for each month you're able to enter your sales target. And in here you will see a recap of sales versus target. You will also be able to track and keep an eye on your conversion rate month by month. You will also see a recap of your inquiry source, so where your inquiries are coming from. As you can see here, you have the name and then the percentage to make it easy for you to see which platforms are being more successful, or where on which platforms your marketing is being more successful. You will also be able to track the revenue by session type, or to see the revenue by session type in two formats. Here you have a pie chart that gives you, yes, the figures, but it also gives you the percentages of the revenue by session type. As you can see, maternity, newborn, dog photography, and so on. You can see the same in these tables. You'll be able to see a recap of revenue by session type with figures only. So if you prefer having a look at the figures only, there's a table that basically is matching this pie chart. We've also included a recap of your total inquiries per session type for the year, which is in this table here, and the total number of bookings for the year. This is your overview, and again, this is automatically updated for you. You don't need to do anything. So let's move to the monthly trackers, and let's start from January. Your monthly trackers are divided in two. You have your header up here, which again helps you keep an eye on critical figures for the business. And I'm going to start for the business, and I'm going to walk you through them in a moment. And at the bottom you have the actual tracker, which is divided into, you have your leads details, and then you have the sales tracker. We'll see in a moment how that works. So what are the stats that we are tracking for you and calculating for you? Because you have to remember that everything that's up here in the header is calculated for you, with the exception of your monthly target, which is obviously entered manually. So let's get started. We have the total number of inquiries for the month, then you have your conversion rate, total number of bookings for the month, and where the inquiries were coming from: website, social media, advertising, phone and WhatsApp, and other. On the table on the right, you have the monthly target, which again is entered by you, and then you have this month's sales, any amounts that are still outstanding, and then you see the total in here. Now in the total we have also included any sales from previous months, and I will show you in a moment how that works. Then of course you have your monthly sales average. Perfect. Let's go and actually get started with tracking your leads. So in the lead tracker, it's again very intuitive. So you have your inquiry date column, and for my European friends, this is in American format, so you have month, day and year. Then you have your inquiry source, which is a drop down, so all you have to do is to click on the drop down menu and you will see options, and you can select the most appropriate one. Name, email address and phone of your lead. The status is basically here to help you keep an eye on your clients or your inquiry journey. So we have divided your clients or inquiry journey into steps. And this drop down menu allows you to select which step that specific lead is on. So inquiry, reply sent, followed up the number 1, number 2, interested, invoice sent, invoice paid, contract sent. Obviously you might be sending invoice and contract at the same time, but we've separated these steps just in case. And then booked, shoot completed, which will be used after the shoot, IPS or online gallery sent, order completed, which means if the client has ordered any printed artwork, or they've chosen the images and you have to send the images or send the gallery to them, the high resolution images, you can click on order completed. Completed is the end of the process. So for example, if the client is picking up the wall art after they've done so, you can click on completed. And then cancelled. I don't like that label, but we have included that just in case. Cool. Just a quick note, I highly recommend being as precise as possible with updating all of the drop-down menus, because the figures most of the figures depend on what you select in the drop-down menu. So just make sure that you get back to your tracker at the end of the day and you update the statuses. Don't forget to do so. Now we move into the next column, which is the session type. We've tried here to be as comprehensive as possible. In case there is something where you book a session and you cannot find the correct session type, you can select other, and you can also enter in notes more specifics for that session. Let's move on to the sales tracker. Okay, we have our shoot date, again is in American format. Then we have how much, the amount that was paid to book the session, the date of the order. So you send out a gallery or you have an IPS, you can enter here the date of the IPS or when the order was placed, how much the client paid for their order, and this is going to automatically give you the total paid for by that specific client. Should there be any outstanding amount, you can add that into this column, outstanding. The total for the client, including any outstanding amounts, is shown in the client total, so the very last column, client total. Now, obviously, something that can happen quite often is that you receive an inquiry in, let's say, January, but the actual session takes place in February, and you want your tracker to be as accurate as possible in terms of sales. For this reason, we've allowed you to select a separate month to record your sales in a different month or a separate month. This is how it works. Let's assume again you had an inquiry in January, the shoot happened on the 19th of January, but the order was placed on the 1st of February. So what I'm going to do in here, the order was £500. I'm going to select February in this drop down menu, so in the column record order under, so that the specific sale will be recorded in February and not into your January sales. So it will be included into your February sales. Now, to help you with this, let's have a look at the whole process together. So let's try to enter a lead in our tracker. So we get an inquiry and it is the 17th of January 2024. My inquiry is from my website and I'm going to enter my name. an email address, and then a phone number. Perfect. Now I've just received this inquiry, so I'm going to select inquired as the status. And this inquiry was for a cake smash. Excellent. Now, the shoot date, the cake smash and the birthday are in March, and the session will be done in February. So the shoot date will be the 20th of February 2024. Okay, the client has paid $99 for to book the session, and they come back on the 25th of February for the IPS. So this is the date, and I'm going to, they ordered $1,000. Perfect. And again, here I will record the sale under February. Excellent. Obviously, I'm now skipping updating the statuses one at a time, but at this point, they've paid for the order, shoot has been done, IPS has been done, so I'm going to change the status here to completed. You obviously don't want to be naughty, as I just have been, and you want to update it every day or as soon as you have an update for that lead. I'm going to show you one more thing, which is, let's assume that the client has placed an order for £1,000, but I have sent the invoice, or I'm waiting for a payment from them. So in this case, I will write 1,000 under outstanding, and I will leave the order paid under 0. As soon as they have paid me, I will update the order paid column and change, this is important, the outstanding to 0, because otherwise the total for the client will be 2,000 instead of 1,000. So I will change the outstanding amount to 0. I hope this is clear. I'm going to show you just one last thing. That is, in the right section of the screen, we have included an overview of the session booked per session type. This is something that can be very useful for you to understand and be able to also forecast the sales for the month based on average sale for each session type, if you're keeping track of that. So here you will see a recap of the session booked for a specific type of session. And to give you an overview of what the options, or a clearer overview of what the options are for your drop-down menus, we've included a recap in this table here. So you can see inquiry source, status, and session type. Perfect. I'm going to show you one last thing before I leave you to getting started with the tracker, which is, well, what if I want to delete data from one of the rows, for example? All you have to do is select a specific row and delete, click on delete. This works for on your keyboard. This works as well for your drop-down menus. There we go. This will clear your data for you from cells. I hope that this tutorial was useful. We look forward to your feedback and see you in the next video.